Sonic Adventure 2 Battle is a critically acclaimed sequel to the critically acclaimed Sonic Adventure 2 released on the Sega Dreamcast in 2001, which iterated on the original by apparently ruining the shadows. But I don't know, I think he looks the same. So, for the people who clicked on this video not knowing anything about this game, hi Mom, yes, I promise I'll get a job soon. You play as the titular Sonic Hedgehog, Knuckle, Egg the Man, newcomers Shadow and Rouge, and Tails and the damn Eva. I'm not allowed to make that joke, I don't know anything about Evangelion. Anyways, Sonic Adventure 2 follows the exploits of two stories, the hero story and the dark story. The good guys and the bad guys, the yin and the yang, the piss and the sink and the piss. God, this video sucks. This is important to know because I'm going to completely shaft Dark Story in this video. This means we'll be talking about Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. Sonic is cooler than Shadow anyways. Yes, you see, as my friend once said, speedrunning is autism coded, and now I'm going to use my official TikTok diagnosis to impart my knowledge onto you. Also, if that's not good enough authority for you, I also run a Sonic the Hedgehog YouTube channel. Also, I'm in top 50% of runners, but I don't really think that's relevant. So anyways, with my credentials established, let's talk about the Sonic Adventure 2 Hero Story New Game Speedrun. So let me tell you about this fuck-ass snake. This is the level Pyramid Cave. It is simultaneously one of the coolest levels in the speedrun and also makes me want to set myself on fire. Okay, so what you'll find is, much like the economy, many things in a Sonic game that we take to be real at face value are in fact made up. Gravity is key to most of the fuckery in this game. Let's get back to our good friend, No. Well, let's get back to our good friend Various. Walking Sonic up Solid Snake here will let him stand on it. Now, it might just seem like Sonic's got some crazy core strength to defy gravity, but nay, he is so much stronger than that. Sonic does not simply defy gravity, Sonic defines gravity. What's actually happening is that Sonic's gravity is being shifted downward, perpendicular, relative to the surface that he's standing on. The gravity will persist for a short time after jumping or exiting the snake, until Sonic falls below a certain speed threshold. So, what happens if Sonic doesn't fall below said speed threshold? We get Snake Skip. Here's what you're gonna do. Charge a spin dash on my ex-wife, then release. Before you fall below the aforementioned speed threshold, perform a bounce. Precisely time a homing attack, cancel specifically for the extra speed, and stand on a fucking wall, I guess. From here, make sure you jump up to ground level before God learns of your hubris and slams your ass down to the game over screen. This is just one of many instances of this game having a shaky relationship with Isaac Newton. Tricks of this nature exist everywhere. Like... Welcome to the other super cool level in the game that also makes me want to set myself on fire, but at a slightly cooler temperature. But when all is said and done, I will still die. Death will come for me, and I can only pray that she will be merciful. So now that we understand a bit better how Sonic's gravity works, let's make it a lot more complicated. Look, I barely understand what's going on here, but I'm going to do my best to explain it to you, and probably spread misinformation on the internet. Let's talk about loop speed. Loops in Sonic Adventure 2 have sections scripted to set Sonic's gravity and speed to a fixed amount. However, what you'll find is that level geometry is often more of a suggestion in this game, and as such you can clip through the underside of most structures. This typically includes the undersides of loops. Now, please pretend like this begs the question. What happens if we utilize the skewed gravity of the loop and touch the underside of said loop to gain the loop speed, thus shooting us off in that direction? Why, you end up with the jankiest shit ever! The loop speed gives you just enough speed to maintain the skewed gravity. If you cash in your goodwill with the Illuminati, you can line yourself up just right that you hit the backside of this loop and fling Sonic towards the tree, rocketing yourself up it and skipping the slow climb, saving a massive amount of time. There's many different iterations of this trick depending on your skill, of which mine is, I can rarely hit it. I'm kind of bad, but I'll spare you the intricacies. From this point, I don't really know what's going on, but I do know that it looks cool as hell. Okay, so that's all well and good, but we all know the mark of a true good speedrun, right? Bullshit RNG. Cool movement tech. Much like me at night when the voices get too loud, Sonic's primary movement tech is all about balling up for as long as possible. In less quirky terms, we're talking about spin dash chaining. If you know anything about Sonic Adventure 1 speedrunning, you know that Sonic can smoke crack. breaking your action button to spam the spin dash over and over. Sega, in an attempt to remove this technique, only made it weirder. See, simply pressing the spin dash button will cause Sonic to do a somersault, which does have its niche uses. However, holding the spin dash button for 30 frames will begin charging the spin dash. This in-between state is called storage, and don't worry, we'll be talking about storage in a little bit, because it's actually really cool, really funny, and really stupid. Back to spin dashing. Spin dashing is, in a vacuum, the fastest way to get around, but obviously rolling across flat planes or up inclines will cause Sonic to lose speed. In this case, we want to chain spin dashes. Interestingly, the game takes into account your momentum going into a spin dash, and so by constantly chaining spin dashes together, you can maintain the initial speed. This variable momentum works together to give me a skip that I unfortunately decided to implement in one of my earliest runs right at the beginning of the game, forcing me to use it in every subsequent run thereafter, even though I only have about a 5% success rate, leading to countless resets, meaning I rarely have the motivation to start a run. Please, 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 please. Yes, let's go! Alright, we're live. This is City Escape Skip. You might be familiar with these speed pads that litter the game. They're considered as giving Sonic a boost to his speed, but this is not always the case. Many serve to actually set Sonic's speed to a certain amount. Important for our purposes are these speed pads right here. See, when Sonic tricks off a ramp, the speed he has going into said ramp will actually determine how far he goes. These speed pads here exist to cap your speed and make sure that Sonic lands on the pads at the bottom of the hill, leading him onto the next trick ramp. If you were to hit this first trick ramp going too fast, you might clip out of bounds. This is ultimately good game design. So how about we circumvent it? The perceptive among you may see where this is going. If you roll down this hill, Sonic will build up a ton of speed. Unrolling and charging again while going over these speed pads will allow you to store much of the speed you had while rolling down the hill. Quickly unroll and jump off the ramp. If you did it correctly, this will shoot you off much quicker than anticipated. If God is in your favor today, you'll clip these speed pads here without ever being considered grounded, shooting you out of bounds and near the end of the level. Okay, so I realized that was a lot, so here's a quick ad break. This video is sponsored by Nord's Shadow Apron Everyday Earbud. Also, here's a lazy non-transition into talking about storage, because I can't find a way to fit it into my script naturally, but it's really funny, and I really want to talk about it. Just give me this one, please. As previously mentioned, the in-between period where you're holding the B button to activate the spin dash charge, but before it actually begins charging, is called storage. Storage can do more things than I can do in real life. It could probably finally fold my laundry and schedule that doctor's appointment I've been meaning to make. You can think of storage as being in the somersault state while still maintaining control over your character. While there's a lot of tiny optimizations, such as allowing you to spin dash earlier after a spring or slip under gaps without incurring the loss in speed of a somersault, what I want to highlight is far less useful but far more funny. It doesn't even have a name that I'm aware of, but I've taken to calling it infinite storage. If you tap the action button for less than a couple frames, Sonic will enter the storage state permanently until he leaves the ground or performs any other action. Typically, this would just slow you down, as you'd much rather skip past them entirely. It is optimal in exactly one split of the game, and that is the first fight with Shadow. You see, Shadow is typically coded to defend if you roll into him or jump at him. You're supposed to attack him from behind, but if you're grounded, he'll just kinda stare at you. This leads to the funniest fight in any game I have ever seen.
So you're not just a hedgehog. Darn, not bad for an imposter. Do you know who I am?
So that's Sonic. But those knowledgeable in the ancient scriptures of Sonic Adventure 2 know that that's not even half the story. In fact, it's barely even a third. Sonic Adventure 2 is only 1/3 Sonic, the other 2/3 being Dork and Dunce, and unfortunately for me, they will not be ignored. Now, as Tails, your job is to fly high, so you can reach the highest of all the heavens, but this is kinda hard to do because you're chained to this fucking tank! Tails is all about shooting things, much like me when I'm around. So if you know anything about this game, Tails seems like the perfect counter to everything I've mentioned so far. This game is cool because it's fast, right? Mech sections in this game are notoriously slow. And ooh, you're so close. This game isn't cool because it's fast because it's cool. Mech gameplay in Sonic Adventure 2 requires extremely good control over your character. Making mech levels fast is a matter of being highly deliberate with movements. With Sonic, your skill expression comes from your use of tech and small optimizations in level traversal. With Tails, your skill expression is in the way you move. Anything beyond extremely shallow turns will nuke your speed, and so it's usually handled by jumping around corners. Level memorization is the name of the game here. Memorizing enemy drop points, the best angles to take, the ways to cheese out early lock-ons to open doors to progression, the like. Take the section from Prison Lane, for instance. The normal way to do this section is as follows. Enter and kill the enemies, wait for the gate to drop, then ride this elevator up, revealing an additional enemy out of view. Kill this enemy, opening up the gate that leads to the exit. However, there's a couple ways we can take advantage of this. While it may seem that the exit gate only opens after every enemy is killed, it's actually the enemy out of view that triggers the flag to open the gate. By jumping between these two shadows on the ground, you can target the enemy early, thus opening the door. However, there's still the matter of the elevator. Elevator? I hardly know her, so I think I'll just skip it. By jumping on the first gate as it's falling, you can platform up to the exit and avoid having to talk to women. Moments such as this exist all over the game, elevated by his primary movement tech, hover jumping. By activating hover while leaving the ground, you can gain more height than intended, and when combined with pause buffering, you can skip entire segments of the level. Alright, so let's address the elephant in the room here. If you've played this game before, you know I'm coping. No bro, trust me, it's good because it's bad and it's fun to make the bad game good. I tried to make it sound cool, I swear I did. I actually like these levels, but I've been sitting on this script for over a month with no idea how to justify that opinion, so it's probably Stockholm Syndrome, I don't know. Look, I want this video to come out one day, and so for that, I'm just gonna have to skip this section of the video. We're just gonna have to move on, and we're gonna have to be okay with that. I like honing my control over my character and memorizing level layouts, but it's kinda cringe, isn't it? Not unlike... Now, as Knuckles, your job is to be rougher than the rest of them, the best of them, tougher than leather, and to be called Knuckles. Don't laugh! That's one of the other rules. So we know that what gamers really want in their speedruns is bullshit RNG, especially when combined with timed exams. I hope you enjoy memorizing all 516 emerald locations, jackass! Oh god, how do I spin this to sound cool? Okay, so the emerald levels, test your patience? Ugh. Okay, so there are some positives here. The treasure hunting levels are the ultimate test of knowledge in pathfinding. Do you know where the hint monitors on a stage are? There's a lot of them, especially in the Steam port, so you're never too far away from one. Okay, so you found a hint monitor. If you've memorized which hints correspond to what emerald locations, 516 by the way, now it's a test of your mechanical precision to get there as quickly as possible. Or if you, say, have a job, you can use your knowledge of the level to think of locations where that hint might be pointing you to. But that's in the best of circumstances. It's so RNG heavy. There's a lot of places you can clip out of bounds in some of the more labyrinthian levels if you know exactly where to go, but because I'm too busy having sex with my wife, I haven't memorized all of them. So it's half as much luck as it is skill, making these levels either the most honk shoe GG easy of my life, or the Alt F4 open Steam right click Sonic Adventure 2 manage uninstall moments of the game. If the levels were more open, it wouldn't be so bad. Levels like Wild Canyon and Pumpkin Hill show a more tolerable experience, even fun in some instances. They're open and simple enough that you can use your knowledge of the level layout to quickly intuit the general zone, making your way to it, and pinpoint its exact location using the Emerald Radar. Hi Mom, so the Emerald Radar is something that is at the bottom of your screen. It will bleed green if it's close, yellow if it's closer, and then red if it's even closer. The reason I think these stages work where the others don't is due to their layout. Consider this map of Pumpkin Hill. There's 3 main sections of the map: Pumpkin Hill, Ghost Train Mountain, and Church Mountain. Emeralds will sparingly spawn in the area in between. From spawn, there's a hint monitor to point you in the correct direction, as well as rockets able to send you up high quickly to allow you to quickly glide to where you need to go. Hi Mom, so Knuckles is in Echidna, which means that he can glide. The open and vertical nature of the level design makes going between these 3 zones fairly easy, and you can use the hints given to get a general idea of what segment of the map the emerald could be at. It's still very RNG heavy, but memorize some landmarks and the rocket locations, and this one's fairly easy, usually only taking a couple minutes at most. Similarly, Wild Canyon can also be split into 4 segments with notable landmarks, and this one is significantly smaller, so both stages are relatively painless. It's when we get to stages like Aquatic Mine with its multi-layered water levels that require backtracking, Meteor Herd's insane verticality and size, or God forbid Death Chamber, which is where I'm gonna put myself if I have to spend another goddamn second on this level. That we start to see the treasure hunting gameplay breakdown. But, like, I hear you asking, if 2/3 of the levels are dog shit, why the hell would I speedrun this game? It's Sonic. You play it for Sonic. Of course it's Sonic. You knew that. It's Sonic. Okay, so like, yeah, no, of course, right? Like, there's fun to be had in the Tails and Knuckles sections of the run, but we run the game for Sonic. That's why we're here, obviously. I had to wring almost every last thing I could out of the Tails and Knuckles sections of this video, but I had to cut myself off on the Sonic sections. I didn't get to talk about Crazy Gadget at all, which is my favorite level in the entire run. Puzzle Room Skip is such a cool section that combines a bunch of jank in a really interesting way, where you super bounce off this wall and clip through a death plane. Oh my god, I never explained super bouncing. So super bouncing involves spin dashing into a wall and performing a bounce right before hitting the bounces. You press B in the air, or the action button, and you rocket yourself down and you bounce. You get the bounce bracelet in Pyramid Cave, the level with the fuck-ass snake, and you want to bounce such that you hit the ground and you hit the wall on your upward trajectory, converting your horizontal momentum from the spin dash into vertical momentum to go up. And this shift of horizontal momentum converted to vertical momentum is used all over the place, like in the aforementioned rocket skip in Metal Harbor. I did talk about Metal Harbor, right? I mean, I did manage to fit it into the script, right? Like, so let me tell you about this fuck-ass snake.